Hey guys, welcome back to Kinetic. I'm Fiona, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about 7 ways that you can have a faith-filled summer. So the very first thing we are going to be talking about is making Mass a priority. So to start off, I know that during the school year, it's so easy to get into a routine of just going every Sunday, going with your parents, but it gets harder in the summer because everyone's going on vacations. You may be going on vacation with your friends, you may be going to your grandparents' house and staying, and they may not be Catholic. But I want to stress how important it is to still go to Mass on Sundays, especially during the summer. You should be going to Mass every Sunday, and so just because in the summer we're traveling a lot doesn't mean that it's not as important to go to Mass. So I would encourage you, if you're traveling with friends, when you get to the location that you're traveling to, just get your phone out and look up local Mass times and local churches that you can go to. If you don't have a phone, ask your friend's parent if you can look up times that you can go to Mass. If it absolutely isn't possible, then the Lord knows that, but just because you're traveling doesn't mean that it's not important to go to Mass. So I want, if you don't listen to anything else in this video, just take away that going to Mass, especially during the summer, is even as important as it is any other time of the year. Second thing I'm going to be talking about is daily prayer. Like I said before, it's really easy to get into a routine during the school year. And so when it comes to praying daily, it may be easier to find spots in your day to fit that into. And then you're just able to continue that prayer because you're already in a structured routine. With that being said, when you get to summer, it can be harder to maintain that structure that you've been keeping through the school year because the whole structure doesn't exist anymore. You may be able to sleep in, or you may be waking up earlier to get to practice. But I would encourage you all to find that extra spot of time that you have in your day and create a new structure. I know for me it's early in the morning, or some days I have to do it late at night. And so I personally find that time and I set it aside. I'm even though this is summer, I still need to find time for my prayer. And so just making that a priority, that you need to set aside time in your day to pray. In order for us to have a relationship with God, we need to pray and we need to grow closer to Him. One tip I can share with you all, if you have struggle just not knowing where to start when it comes to personal prayer, is to just think of prayer as a conversation with God. I found that if you just tell God about your day, tell Him what's going on in your life, and just think of you're talking to your friend across the room. God is our friend. He wants to be our friend, and all we have to do is talk to Him and get to know Him. So if you don't know where to start, I would encourage you just pretend you're having a conversation with your friend. Okay, so the third way that you can have a faith-filled summer is by trying to attend a Bible study or a youth group. Now, I know this isn't a possibility for everyone, depending on what goes on at your church. But I know for me in high school, my church did a really good job of getting the youth together once a week to just pray together, have some fun. So if this is a possibility in your area and it's something that you've been considering doing, should I go? Should I stay home? You should go, because it is so worth it. You get to hang out with your friends who are your age, and maybe you would have been hanging out with them anyway, so just go hang out with them at church. Friends in God. I mean, I would choose this option, but so I would recommend just go. Try it out for once. If you've never been, just go one time, just try it out. Maybe you'll like it. And if you don't like it, maybe it's just youth group isn't your vibe, then just get a bunch of friends from school together. Maybe get some of your close friends and just read the Bible, share with each other. I know that especially during the summer, it can be hard to try to maintain this steady prayer life. And so if you have these friends that are also trying to do the same thing, then it can help you guys grow together. Okay, so the fourth way that you can have a faith-filled summer is by regularly attending confession. So in order for us to grow in our relationship with the Lord, we also need to go to confession. I know this is, especially for me, one thing that I put off, and I know that a lot of you probably put this off, and you probably think oh, it's important, but I just don't have time for it. I'll go in a few weeks. But then those few weeks come and I'll be oh, I'll go next week. And then it's months and months and you're oh, I really should go to confession. And in order for us to have a good relationship with the Lord, we can't have any sins in between us and God. The more sins that we have between us and God, the more that we are just pulled apart from Him. And so if we want to really grow closer with Him, we need to ask for His forgiveness. And so if you guys haven't been to confession in a while, I would just encourage you to just figure out when the times are at your church. And if you only try and make it one time this summer, then that's more than if you weren't going to go at all. So I would encourage you to just try and build confession into your regular routine. It doesn't have to be every week, but as long as you're going like once a month, especially during the summer, then that's just another way that you can grow closer with God. The fifth way that you guys can have a faith-filled summer is by surrounding yourself with good role models. So during the summer, we are out of our school routine, as I talked about, and we're going from whether it's sporting activities, to music lessons, to summer camp, to grandparents' house, to friends' vacation. You're just being surrounded with all these new people that you weren't surrounded with during the school year. And these could be good or bad people. And you could be placed in really good, positive environments, or you guys could be in environments that are going to tear you down and bring you farther away from God. So I would encourage you to find those good environments that you can be a part of, because if you are around those good people that are also striving for holiness, then they are going to bring you closer to God. Whereas if you're put in these situations where you're being tempted constantly, then it's not going to pull you closer to God. It's just going to bring you farther away. And so especially during the summer, I know it's hard, where you're going to be put into situations like this more often because you're going to be surrounded by a whole different crowd of people. And I would just encourage you to just take a minute and just realize, like, is this worth it? Is this worth, like, straining my relationship with God for, when I could be with these other friends right now who are going to be bringing me closer to God? So if this is something that you struggle with choosing between, like, which friends and which friend group to hang out with during this summer, then I would choose just, like, thinking about what is going to lead you closer to God. The sixth way that you can have a faith-filled summer is by going to Bible camp. Now, I know this isn't, like, a possibility for everyone, but I do know that when I was in high school, I did summer camp, which from like 4th grade to 9th grade, and I also attended student world conferences all through high school. I don't know if student world conferences are something that happens at your church, but if they are, I would highly encourage you guys to go. These camps give you just a time away from the environment that you are at home, and just give you time to connect with the Lord one-on-one in an environment where you are able to do so more freely and more emotionally. I know that, especially for me, it's hard to keep your faith up throughout the summer just by yourself. And so if you're with, even if it's only just for a week, just in the middle of your summer, and you're able to go and you're able to experience God with all these new people and all these young people that are also your age, that it's just really gonna set your heart on fire for the Lord, and it's gonna give you that motivation that you need to get through the rest of the summer. This happened to me a lot when I was little growing up, and just being able to surround myself by friends that were also just like on fire for God, and just being able to go to mass every day with them and pray every day with them, and then just like having fun with them, all centered around like growing our relationship with God. And then, like, to this day, I still keep in touch with many of the friends that I had when I grew up going to summer camp, and I still am really close with the friends that I met at my student conferences. Okay guys, so the last and final reason, so 7, that you can have a faith-filled summer is by volunteering at your parish. There's so much happening at your parish that you may not even know about, and just the little time that you could spend just maybe once a week at your parish just helping out with them. I know my parish does a lot of canned food drives, or even just raffles that are going on constantly, and fundraisers that I know I spent many days during my summer growing up just stuffing envelopes and addressing them and sending them out to the parishioners. And it's just like little things like that that just like may seem like a tedious job for you, but it's also a tedious job for the people that are in charge that are trying to do it. And so if they could just have a little bit of help over the summer, it just means so much to them. And it's also a way that you can give back to your community and give back to the church, because they're putting so much into making sure that they can have all these activities for you, especially like youth group, and trying to get these summer camps to happen. One thing I have to say about this personally is when I remember stuffing these envelopes with some seminarians that were placed at our church this one summer, and I was really young, and they were also just new into their discernment. And this past semester when I went to Seek, there were these seminarians that I stuffed these envelopes with a few years ago, and they came up to me and they were like, "Fiona, do you remember us?" And I was like, oh my gosh. And just this memory of spending the summer with them, just doing something as simple as stuffing envelopes, but getting to know them personally, and then just seeing them a few years later, and just like the relationship that you can make with the people at your church will carry on for the rest of your life. And it's important to just get to know the people that are around you, because ultimately you guys can help lead each other to God. And it's just fun seeing them, especially now when I saw them at Seek, just at this big conference where we're all there just trying to get closer to God and get closer to heaven. And it's just really cool to just see how these relationships can carry on in your lives. So to wrap this up, I really hope that some of this, if not all of this, spoke to you guys, and that I know it is a lot to try and do all 7 of these things on the list, but if you could pick just 1 or 2 that speak to you and just give them a shot this summer, just try them out. I know that it'll work wonders in your life, and it'll really help you just continue that relationship that with God that you need to have in order to grow closer to Him. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, like I said, just feel free to reach out. And know that Kinetic is keeping you guys in your prayers, and we would really appreciate it if you guys keep us in your prayers. Just know that Kinetic is keeping you guys in our prayers, and we would really appreciate it if you guys keep us in your prayers. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great summer.